Welcome back to Las Vegas Big Ten Media Days. Werner and Joey Wagner here with Illinois Athletic Director Josh Whitman. Josh, how are you?
I'm great. Welcome to Vegas, guys.
Yeah, appreciate it.
First time.
Yeah.
Your first time?
Yeah.
Ever? Wow.
It's hot. It is very warm.
It's hot here.
Man.
I remember when we were at Arizona for the golf event. When they were at the NCAA championships. So it's just a dry heat. You said, well, so is my oven.
That's exactly right.
That is Las Vegas.
Yeah, I got out for an outdoor run this morning, and it was hot. It was hot. Yeah, and it's crazy because it evaporates so fast. You don't realize how much water you're losing. So you gotta make sure you drink enough water. Guys.
He knows us too well.
We give off a vibe.
I wanted to get into this. People are talking about this football, and it's chatter. People are talking about Illinois as a top 5 team in the Big Ten, college football playoff contender. What's that mean for your program? To have people talking about Illinois football like it belongs near the top of the Big Ten.
It's another marker. It's just, for us, it's always been about progress, and we've never put timelines on things. We've never said we have to be at this place by this date, but we know what progress looks like, and to be in those conversations is where we should be now, and given what we've been able to do over these last 3 football seasons, especially last year, to have the head football coach that we do, to have the fan enthusiasm, the excitement around the program, we've earned the right to be a part of those conversations now, and now we have to go out and perform. And I told our 3 guys who were here last night, I said, you can't have a great moment without a great opportunity, and make no mistake, we have a great opportunity in front of us, and now we just got to wait and kick it off and see how that opportunity develops. But I'd rather be where we are now than the alternative, for sure.
Josh, we've heard you and Brett talk about sustained success. That's been kind of the buzz. I know you guys looked into it. What are the markers of that? What goes into sustaining success as you've researched or seen play out with Brett?
It's a couple things. Clearly, for us, a part of it has been leadership stability, and we talk a lot with you guys about that. And I think when you find somebody like Brett Bielema, who is leading your program in such a capable and exciting way, then you want to make sure that there's a runway in front of him to stay here and continue the work that he started. I think a lot of it is staying hungry and having strong anticipation around what the future holds, and not being afraid to make some gambles about educated guesses, maybe, but the gambles here we are in Vegas, educated guesses about where things are moving, and trying to be anticipatory and putting ourselves in a position to take advantage of some of those changes. But a lot of it is just making sure we stay hungry, and that we continue to evaluate the work we're doing every bit as critically in moments of success as we do in moments of challenge, and that's something that's incumbent on he and I.
One of the things I've noticed with Brett is he cultivates belief from his players at a really high level. So how does he do that? What have you seen that qualities in him that gets people to follow him as strongly as they do?
He just does a great job of building rapport and connectivity to his players, and I've seen that literally from the very first team meeting. When we introduced him to the team, it was a moment that I will never forget, just the way that he was able to capture that room in a matter of moments. He was vulnerable, he was genuine, he was humble, and from that day forward, they have believed in him. And when you get that first group, then that often passes down through generations of players. And so even though we're now 4 years removed from that first meeting, when the upperclassmen believe in him, they're going to pass that through to the younger guys who come into the locker room. And it's just his ability to connect with them, to inspire trust. He's very real with them. He doesn't BS them. He doesn't tell them what they want to hear. He tells them what they need to hear. But he's able to deliver those messages in ways that make them tangible and meaningful to the guys. It's a special skill that he has, and just really lucky that he's doing that for us.
There are a lot of reasons you hired Brett, of course. not just the amount of wins, but the drama of the wins last year was pretty incredible. You think of Kansas, Nebraska, Purdue, Michigan. I know was such a big day for you guys.
Rutgers.
Yeah, Rutgers, Northwestern, South Carolina. You have as much as anyone. I'm a Lion in these moments. What was that like for you to experience?
The end results were unbelievable. Just the emotional swings that football brings. I think it's probably hard for people to realize. Thank you. Again, all that goes into those 12 contests. Like football's just different than every other sport in that way because you get so few opportunities. The amount of work and preparation that goes into each and every one of those 12 opportunities is unrivaled in sports, in any sport. In professional football, they play way more games, and it's just different. And so the stakes for those games are significant, and recognizing what it means, not just for Illinois football as a former football player, but what it means for Illinois athletics more broadly, what it means for the University of Illinois, even our region, our state. I mean, the program has such far-reaching implications for so many different constituencies now that to see us pull some of those games out in the final moments was pretty special, and the roller coaster that you ride there in the last quarter of some of those games can be pretty intense, and just really happy that we were able to finish the way that we did.
Is there anything that surprised you about Brett as a head coach? I mean, again, you hired him for so many different reasons, but is there anything that you've witnessed in your 4 or 5 years with him that has surprised you at all?
I don't know so much surprised me, just I think he just does the things that I thought he would do, but does them even better than I thought he would. And he just continues to demonstrate that day in and day out. And his ability to teach the game of football, and I've told, I think you guys this before, I mean, there are moments where he will tell me on a Thursday, here's how I think this is going to play out. And then lo and behold, come Saturday, it goes exactly as he expected it would. He's really good at anticipating the sport and helping prepare his guys mentally so that they can transfer what they do on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday into that Saturday environment. It doesn't feel too big for them. It doesn't catch them by surprise. His work ethic, I will say, is perhaps a surprise, just because I knew he would work hard. Everybody in football works hard, but he takes it to a degree that I've not seen before. And when I talk about staying hungry and not being satisfied, it's hard if you just look at who's sitting in that corner office in the Smith Center and recognize the way he is sacrificing to push this program forward. It's hard for everybody who's associated with the program not to follow that lead.
Josh, this program has momentum right now, and I'm curious if there's a moment, big or small, that you felt like that was shifting into the program's favor.
There have been a lot of moments, I think, kind of, again, markers maybe, that where you're like, okay, this is, now you can kind of start to feel the wheels turning. Now they're going a little faster. Now they're, obviously, for me, I thought the win at Wisconsin, Brett's, what was his second year? I thought that was a really kind of, okay, wow, we're dealing with something different now than perhaps what we've had. I thought that, the Michigan game last year is one that I told some of our players last night, I think people will be talking about that game 25 years from now. It was just one of those games that will live forever with our fans. And then the bowl game, to have a chance to experience the Citrus Bowl, to play that South Carolina team, to be able to defeat them in that setting on that stage. Those are three that just kind of stick out to me as being really important games that I think we'll look at through the lens of history as helping to define the tenure of Brett Bielema and the success of this program.
How do you find moments to reflect on that? Like, it doesn't stop, right? So but you have to,
Doesn't stop.
I guess, take stock of those moments and know that they exist. So how do you find that time?
I think it's something that, as I've gotten older and have maybe done this a little bit longer, I'm more aware of it, and you get a little better at even anticipating them as they're happening, and so you at least I've encouraged Brett to do the same, to kind of see it in the moment and say, okay, well, like Michigan, we knew as that was happening, that was a special weekend. Like I remember preparing for the rededication on that Friday and getting up on that stage, and just sometimes you realize the moment when you're in it, and that was one that certainly will live for a long time. And so I think you also, I think as you get older, you gain some appreciation for time, and you realize how fleeting this experience ultimately is going to be in the history of this university and this football program, and you feel humbled to be able to be in the roles that we are, and hopefully make some small imprint that'll be felt generations from now. But it just, I think, as much as anything, comes with time and perspective, and I've tried to be better about that the longer I've been in this role.
Sustaining success is kind of the mantra, right? Is the goal. This feels like a big year for that, Josh, right? So, what does this season mean for what you guys want?
It's kind of like I said earlier. I hesitate to ever put benchmarks in front of us. I agree with you. I think it is a big season. I think because of the importance of football to all those different things that I mentioned earlier, the truth is, and this sounds like a glib answer, that every season's a huge season. That's just the magnitude of football and what it means for everything connected to our athletics program. But I think in terms of demonstrating to the football community that we have staying power, and that we are not, we're a different Illinois than perhaps we've been in the past, where we've had those moments of success and then have experienced these fairly precipitous drops. And to be able to go to back-to-back postseasons, to be able to look out and hopefully see a number of sellouts this year, to know what's happened with our fans, our ticket base, the environment around our games. Those are all things that I think demonstrate the progress that we're making. And so we just want to reward those people for their belief in us. And we've got some donors here with us in Vegas, a lot of people who have stepped forward at moments when stepping forward to support us was not the most popular thing to do. And now we've got people who are excited, who are investing in us with their time and their resources, and we want to deliver something for them. We haven't had this kind of excitement around this program in a long time, and we need to mature as a program to a point where in those moments with expectation, we can deliver, and I really think we're well positioned to do that.
There's heavy topics in college athletics. You get the pressure of, all of this multi-million-dollar business that you guys have. I always think of you personally, running is really important to you. Mm-hmm. What does that do for you? So those morning runs, what does that do for you? Because there's a human here, right?
Yeah.
It's not just a robot waking up every day.
Well, I tell people it's as much for my head as it is for my heart, and it's the truth is it just helps to recharge me. It helps keep me fresh. It helps keep me sharp. It's really the only time all day now, being that you can appreciate a father with 2 young kids, and it's the only time of day where I'm really by myself with my own thoughts. I don't usually listen to music or podcasts. I literally just think, and I come back and I feel re-engaged and reconnected, and it's a really important balancing that I've found works for me, and I think everybody in positions of responsibility has to find their thing. Well, it doesn't, obviously running works for me, it doesn't have to work for everybody, but it allows me to maintain some level of balance. And I do think well when I run. I think well when I would come back from running. I've gotten to know myself well enough that in really hard moments, sometimes I'll just cut everything and go run. I have to leave here. I need to go for a run. And invariably, when I do that, I come back in a better frame of mind with a clear line of thinking, and so it's just been something that's been important for me.
How do you feel the buzz of this program within the confines of Champaign-Urbana? I mean, obviously there's ticket sales, there's all sorts of things, but how do you feel it just existing around the community?
Well, for those of us who've lived in the community for a long time, you can feel when the programs are strong, and you can feel when they're not. And to be in the community now and to go to the grocery store or go to the ball fields with some of the youth sports, like you just see a lot more Illinois gear. You're getting recognized. People are really excited about the upcoming season. It just changes the attitude of the entire community, and that's one of the things we talk a lot about with the university. Our administration is helping to recognize the impact that we can have given the platform that we've been given to change a place, and certainly that change happens most directly within the athletics program, but I think about the university, the experience of our undergraduate population. We're expecting to have 8,500 student season tickets this year for football. You talk to students who graduated 20 years ago and they say, well, I met my wife at a football game. I had these great memories with my buddies. We went every year, every game. Like we're changing their experience. More and more we're hearing about students who are choosing to come to Illinois instead of another place because they want to be connected to a big-time athletics program. They want to be in the stands. They want to have those memories. And then you take it out another layer to the community and to what that means for people who live and work in the area, and the buzz that exists as you get later in the week, every week during the fall, in anticipation of the game. And we've had that with basketball for a while, and where every game is an event and it feels important, and I think we're at that point now with football, and it's exciting.
We talked earlier about those close games, and we do watch you when you go down to your corner of the field.
My corner, yeah.
And it's all very stoic. Like it's very little change until Bielema and the players get to you. How do you keep stoic when there's so much riding on 48 seconds of a game or 2 minutes of a game?
Well, I'd like to say that's all 100% what's happening on the inside too, and that wouldn't be accurate. Yeah, I know when I go down there, and obviously that's important for me. I've been in that corner literally every home game that I've been the athletic director. I want to be the first person to see the coaches and the players when they come off the field, win or lose. But I've known that by going down there, I'm giving the whole stadium a chance to see how I'm going to react in those moments. And I decided early on that I was going to do my best to be stoic and to recognize that there's going to be moments where, and there have been, where the reaction I wanted to have was not one of excitement. And I've tried to be even in the hard moments and in the really good ones. And when the players come and the coaches come, then I'm certainly, as you guys have seen, I'm not afraid to show a lot of emotion in those moments. But until if we've learned anything over the years, guys, is that until that final horn sounds, a lot of crazy things can happen. And so I'm also a believer in karma, and I want to make sure I don't prematurely celebrate anything, because you never know how it's going to finish.
We're about a month into the House settlement, CSC, all of that. Do you feel confident that, like you said last month at the media roundtable when you dove into this, do you feel confident that people want this structure still? Like that it's going to hold, that everyone's going to want these rules? Because I know a lot of people outside, understandably so, are skeptical about all of this change.
I hope so. It is being tested. We knew it would be. It's being tested philosophically. It's being tested strategically by schools and collectives and third parties. I expect, as I told you guys, I expect it will be tested legally. I think all that pressure testing is important. I think if it can withstand that pressure and can adapt based on the input that we're getting, the revised opinions that are helping to shape it, then I think it's got a chance to be really strong going forward. I think if it can kind of shoulder the burden of these first few months, the first big tests, over time those tests should go down, because we should build it better as we refine it, polish it. The question you ask is, do I feel confident that people still want it to work? I'm not sure. I hope so. As I've said many times, I think that's what we need. I badly want it to work. I think my colleagues in the Big Ten badly want it to work. the competitive pressures of the industry are very real. And so there's what we want, and then there's what has to happen in order for us to compete at a high level. And it's one thing to believe in something, it's another thing to believe in that thing and watch the whole world around you go a different direction. And so you have to find that balance point where you believe in things until it is absolutely apparent you can't. And so we're going to continue to believe. We're going to keep doing things the way that they've been designed. I think that's what the Big Ten intends. And hopefully we come out of it with a stronger, more resilient system on the other side.
How do you balance that of making sure you guys stay competitive, right? But also you're a proponent of this, like of what these rules and these guardrails are. So how do you balance that?
It's just there's no perfect answer to that. It's a lot of kind of following your gut and trying to get a good sense of how the landscape is evolving. You can't be so stubborn and so stuck in your ways that you don't change and modify. But on the other hand, in this case anyway, I don't want us to be the ones that bring the hammer to the new system that we built and break it into pieces. Like, that's not our place, it's not our MO. But if the system breaks, then we'll be prepared to adapt accordingly. But I don't think it will break. I don't. For the record, I think it will. I think it will continue to evolve. It will change. But it may look a little bit different before it's all said and done.
Josh Whitman, I know fans appreciate you speaking out to us, so we appreciate you sitting down with us.
Josh, thanks for making the effort to be out here. Enjoy your first time in Vegas.
Oh, we'll be fine.
Thanks, Sean.